advantages of the Preceon system is the script that comes along with the bags of Preceon. So let's walk a little bit through kind of the behind the scenes of how that script is made and would be implemented on your field, and how we create those scripts within the FieldView platform. So we have the field pulled up here. We'll go in and create a new prescription, and then we will go to our FieldView Seed Script. So our FieldView Seed Scripts uses the previous data that you've collected within your field to pull in where the zone should be, population recommendations on those zones, and use all that previous data to help make that recommendation. So it looks like you got 4 years of corn data here on this field, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
It's a corn on corn field.
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to uncheck a couple boxes because we don't have any data for previous years, and the 4 years you have is definitely sufficient to get us a good recommendation. So we remove those 4 years. We have 2023, 2022, 2021, and 2020 of corn yield data. That's our first step. We're going to click next and go into what is our second step. So this is the plan of the script. What hybrid are we planting? What's our target yield? And then a little bit of economics worked in as far as cost and current grain prices. So I believe the hybrid that you have going on this field this year would be the Preceon 108, is that correct?
That is correct.
So I'm going to type that in here. So I typed in Preceon and it brings up our 10820. So there's our hybrid that we're going to plant, and the good thing about that is we have information and data collected from these hybrids that are going to help funnel that population recommendation as well, which shows those tested tags underneath there.
Yep.
What's a good target dry yield for this field? What's something that you would consider a good year?
240, 250 range.
Okay, let's go with 250. We'll be optimistic on the high side.
Yep.
We're going to put in a cost per bag of $3.25, and we'll go with a grain price of $4 for this year. So
Yep.
there's our plan. I'm going to click next, and then it's going to generate our script. It's going to give us a recommendation based off of what we put, the data that's collected, and it's going to give us an initial look in step 3 of here's a preview of what it could look like.
Yep.
We get an average population of 41,000.8 on this. And with Preceon, as stated, it is a system that you're going to be able to push those populations into areas where in the past you might have been a little bit more uncomfortable with.
Yep.
And is what we're finding with it is, hey, we're going to push these a little bit higher.
Yep.
Would you agree it looks like we got your yield map pulled up from 2022 here, and kind of how that's reflecting across to what we're seeing here?
It shows the zones pretty identical here.
Yeah, so
Yep.
you can see, and we're pulling in 4 years, and we're just looking at 1 year here, so it's obviously using 3 other years to kind of make some other recommendations. But just a quick glance at 1 year, we can see, hey, it's kind of dialing in what that field normally does and where the high spots are. So,
Yep.
and I'm gonna just slide this down to a notch just to kind of show, hey, what maybe 41,000 is just a tad high, but what if we go down a notch? Okay, slide it down 1 and we're at 40,000. We also get our average population by zones, so you can see each zone. For example, zone 1, 40,000.3. With an average bushel goal of 253, and that the total acres in that zone 1 is 17. So it kind of breaks down each zone and how those bags are going to be distributed throughout those 4 zones.
In these zones, can you go in and change them manually if you want?
At the next step, yeah, we could go
Okay.
in and we could actually update a specific zone to a specific population if we see we need to fine tune it a little bit more.
Perfect.
But would you agree what we're seeing here is a pretty good place to go to the last step?
Totally agree.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
let's go to finish in editor then, and this is our last step. Step 5, here's our script, here's all our zones. If we needed to make any of those adjustments, like you said, where it's like, hey, maybe one zone we can push it a little bit more, or maybe my low zone, we need to dial it back a little bit more, just knowing this field. We could come over here on that side and we could dial those back a little bit.
Awesome.
From here, let's say this is probably a pretty good script maybe for this field, for Preceon 108.
Yep.
From here, if we don't want to make any changes, we can just come up here and hit save our changes, and it's going to add that script then into your list of scripts that you wrote for that field.